I'm pleased to be joined by Mr. Football on the socials on YouTube, 700,000 subscribers. Great interview series and really caught my attention. My man goes by Mr. Football. I'm calling by his government name, which is Bijan. Bijan, thanks so much for being here, man.
Of course. Thanks for having me, man. This is awesome.
Yeah, dog. I got to say, I enjoyed the content, and that's what really got across. So the thing that really brought me in, the reason I wanted to introduce you to my audience is A, giving a good interview as an interviewer is an acquired skill, and B,
Absolutely.
asking people to, asking people to read a play card and then tell you what it means is diabolical, dog.
Yeah,
Where did
they
that come
think this
from?
shit's easy, man. Like they think it's easy, and I'm just like, it's not as easy as you think. But it is also simple. Like the play calls are simple. It's kind of telling you exactly what to do, but you got to remember all that shit before you get to before you get on that field and execute it. So I just wanted to see what people think what it means because it all could mean something different, but at the same time it could all mean the same thing. So
Have you had someone who was able to correctly decipher one of those play cards?
in my comments, yes. In my comments, yes. But no, there's actually funny enough. The first one I did, I ran in. So I used to coach a 7-on-7 team, and I actually ran into my old quarterback. And I was like, oh yeah, like literally the first one I ever did. So I went up to him, asked him what he thought it meant, and he was like 95% correct. But that's when I hit big on TikTok. So that kind of started making the series a lot more watchable. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna just keep this going. I only started like 3 weeks ago, so yeah, man. It's like so he pretty much got like 95% of it correct, but a lot of people I'm just like, yeah, you don't know anything. So
Well, to be fair, right? These play calls, they have their own nomenclature and terminology, and depending on what system that it is you're raised in, you might not
mhm.
know this. Like the West Coast offense is ridiculous because it's got all these tags that mean
Yep,
absolutely nothing to no one else except someone who's familiar with that nomenclature. But
exactly.
as a guy who likes from football, why did you think it would be funny to ask
All right.
people about these play calls?
Okay, so actually, so there's a guy named Yosho who goes up to people and asks them to read like an index card, just a regular sentence or whatever, right? And I go live with him on TikTok every night. We become really good friends. And someone in his comments was like, someone needs to go up to people with play like ridiculous play calls and just see if they can decipher it. I think they said to see if they could memorize it, but I was like, let me see if they like, I want to know what they if they think they knows what it means or whatever, right? So, and it's good for the YouTube algorithm. It's good for trying to get a 1 minute video where it's like I ask the question, they answer it, and then I get to see they get to bring like their personality out and everything too. But also, honestly, after the first one, I was like, oh, this is a hit because I love interviewing people, and two, it like goes along with my like crave for football and like I love this shit. Like I coach a team too, you know what I'm saying? I play flag football right now. So it's kind of my way to get back into the game and I come up with a bunch of play calls and John Gruden blew up the last couple years doing the same thing. So I'm just like, yeah, let me piggyback off of that and put it my own way. And I'm really good at interviewing people and going up to people and kind of getting that that special personality out that you don't normally see from football fans and stuff like that. So I thought it was a perfect mix of everything, to be honest.
We got started talking just before the show, and you mentioned a fact to me that I think is wild.
Hmm.
Not only did you play at Elon, you played for Curt Cignetti. What
Yes.
was that like playing for him at that level?
Honestly, like it was the craziest shit ever. So when he first got there, we just knew him as he came from like a D2 school in Pennsylvania. I believe that was Indiana University of Pennsylvania, and that he coached with Coach Saban. During like the glory day years of like Julio Jones and all that. And you walk in his office, he had a picture of Julio Jones signed by him. Like I wouldn't be here without you, dog. Like love you to death. So that's where that was our first introduction to him. But then he came in there. We were 2-9 my freshman year, right? So my freshman year, he wasn't the coach. 2-9. Then he comes in there, weeds a bunch of things out, kind of the same way he walked into Indiana, very boldly saying what he said. Honestly, none of this is like by surprise at all. Like I'm not surprised by anything he's done at all. But he came in there, weed a bunch of people out. The people that stayed, he respected, and he just completely changed the culture of what we had going on at Elon University. It's not a really big football school. I will say the first game there wasn't that many people at the games, but by the conference championship we played against JMU, it was sold out. People were watching from the parking lot, and yeah, it was crazy. Like same person, same exact person he was a bunch of years ago. Like this was what, like 9 years ago. So yeah, same exact person. So I'm not shocked by it at all. But he came in there and really made it like just straight football, and everyone thought he was, kind of a dickhead at first, but you gotta be in this profession. We're all a bunch of 18, 19-year-old, 20-year-olds. So anyone that comes in, talking the way he does, you're gonna think he's a dickhead. But like literally by the summertime and by camp, we were like, oh yeah, this dude is gonna turn us around. And honestly, I remember one time we're all sitting in a circle after like the first year. We beat JMU for the when they were number 2 in the nation, we were number 5 in the nation the following year. And we all sat in a circle. We are like, yo, what if Coach Signetti like became like one of the greatest like college football coaches of all time? And I mean, I arguably think he is. To me, he is. So
I don't think you're wrong. I think
yeah.
I wrote a column about this at Fox Sports where I said we were looking for a natural successor to Nick Saban, and Kirby Smart still has, I think, a really strong grip on that with 2 national championships and the last 2 SEC championships. But Signetti running the table with Indy friggin' Anna in year 2.
And my thing is, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I don't know if you remember, but he was the recruiting coordinator for Nick Saban when he first got to Alabama. So, and arguably coached the greatest wide receiver of all time at the time. So I feel like he's partially responsible for that, for the dynasty at Alabama. And then, like you said, coming to Indiana, the most losingest FBS football program in the entire nation, and turning around them. And I would say 1 year, I mean, 14-2 the first year, or 12-2 the first year?
11-2.
11-2. That's insane. That's insane. And lost to who? Notre Dame and Ohio State.
The 2 teams that played in the national championship game. Yeah.
2 teams that played in the national championship. So, I mean, and the thing is, like, there was that Notre Dame game I remember watching. I was like, like he has a little bit more to learn. He's going to learn from this. You know what I'm saying? I think when he was at Elon, there was a lot of times like we won all of our games by like 6 points or less. So when he got there, we were like 8-3, all 6 points or less. And any game we lost 6 points or less, except for like the FBS teams that we played. Obviously, those are a whole different ball game or whatever. But I was seeing a lot of similarities where I think, when he was at Elon, he really learned how to run a Division I football program, because that was his first time being the head of a Division I football program. Then he went to our rivals, JMU, brought them to beat FBS, and wasn't surprised by what he did there at all, because they had the players. When we played against JMU, it was like, oh yeah, this is the FBS team, and he just did what he had to do to get them over that hump, and he used it as a stepping stool to get to Indiana, and did what he did there. Not surprised at all. Not shocked one bit.
It's funny. Elon is on my brain for only 2 reasons. One, that's where they shot He Got Game when Jesus Shuttlesworth on his visit. And Curt Cignetti. That's it, dog.
The 2 coolest things in the world, ain't it?
So let me ask it this way. Like, what was your freshman year? You said 2-9.
2-9, yeah.
Okay, what year was that?
That was 2016.
Okay, so that's 2016. It's 2026. For you to say, hey, I think, we might have one of the greatest college football coaches of all time a decade ago, feels like a reach. But again, the recruiting coordinator that he was for Alabama, and the fact that he couldn't get an offensive coordinator job for Nick Saban because he was so good at this. Matter of fact, this is something he's actually spoken about.
Yep.
And his willingness to just go wherever somebody would make him a head coach and then say, I'll just win my way to where I got to go. When you first encountered that sort of a personality, you used, I'm not going to use that word, but you used the DH word to describe his personality. I'd just say, hey, man, it's not bragging if you can do it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a fact. How long did it take for you all to adopt his mentality? Like, the thing I said about Indiana is that they play the way he talks. When did y'all start to play the way he talks?
Like a week, maybe a week.
Okay.
Maybe a week, because he came in, like January? So we were doing our workouts and stuff like that. We had a really good strength coach at the time as well. So that was, it all kind of forged together. All the assistants, most of the assistants that he has now were our assistants as well. So my wide receivers coach was Mike Shanahan, who's the offensive coordinator there now. And then the linebackers coach was the D coordinator, Brian Haynes. And then one of their offensive analysts, he was a center for our team. So, I mean, I think it was just us. We had a lot of really talented players. It just we didn't have the right coach at the time, which I'm so thankful he let me come and play. But you saw when Curt came in, it was like, okay, yeah, this is a football coach. This is a ball coach. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's maybe took like a week for us to be like, all right, let's try to go out there and win as many games as possible. Then Matt Dros came around, and it was great. Spring ball was great. Um, then fall camp was amazing, and I just think like also obviously the offensive system that he has, I find there's always an answer for everything. Is what I noticed with a lot of our plays and stuff like that we were running. Always an answer for everything. If one thing doesn't go right, we have another call on there that we can make it right. So just
Give me
very
an
big
example.
problem solver.
Give me an example.
So for instance, I mean like a lot of RPOs obviously,
Mhm.
as you can tell, and I think that was like still kind of really early in the RPO game. So that was like, wow, I can't believe we can pull this off. So for instance, like say if you're like running like a scissors concept, right, and there's a safety over top and cover three, that post can turn into a dig, just to make us right. Just like I said, just a lot of
So
answers for everything.
so you play wide receiver?
Yeah, I played wide
Okay.
receiver
Sorry, you're talking like a wide receiver. So I'm a quarterback. That's
for
why I'm asking.
sure. Yep,
Y'all sight adjusted the line, not the quarterback.
yep. Side
Damn, I
adjusted the
love that.
line.
Sorry,
So like
that
cover
fills me with
two.
such joy.
Like I don't mean to like give out all the secrets and stuff like that, but like cover two, if like we're running comebacks on the play, like let's just convert it to a go. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't got to run ourselves into that corner. Really just depends on
What are your
coverages and
rules
stuff
though?
like
What
that.
are your rules
What do you
on
mean?
that play? What's your rule?
Like if it's cover two, like you're converting. You're converting. Obviously if you're running the bender in the like comeback seam I guess type play, like if it's cover two, you bend it. If it's cover three, you stay on. Like that Y, if you're in trips, he goes all the way to the other side of the hash. You know what I'm saying? So there's a
So
lot. There's always
you're looking at
what we
shell. You're
saying.
not looking at cornerback and where he is aligned and
We're
how he.
looking at it. Just really depends. Mostly the shell, because the shell, I guess, will tell the corner what to do, if you know what I'm saying. So it just
I
really
do.
depends if you're playing H. If you're playing slot, then you focus on the safety and the outside linebackers and stuff like that. You always want to get like a burst release, stuff like that. So a lot of the stuff they run, I watched. Obviously, they've probably like developed the playbook a lot more since Elon or whatever. But a lot of the stuff, I'm like, oh, I understand the rules and what they're doing at all times. So pretty cool to
It's
see.
fun to watch them. But I have even more fun watching the defense because I
Oh
know
yeah.
Bryant Haynes is having a good time. And I'm sure
Oh
you
yeah.
saw that Alabama fans were not at all happy at him going at them because Ty Simpson got out there and said they weren't doing anything that I didn't know about. And my first
Yeah.
thought was, but you couldn't do anything about
Couldn't do
it.
shit. Couldn't do nothing, man. I remember I went to Sport and Social that day because I couldn't get to I mean, it was in LA, so I couldn't really get to the Rose Bowl for that. And there was a bunch of Alabama fans there. I had my Signetti like Marlboro sweatshirt on, like the Marlboro logo with the Signetti thing on, and I was just talking so much shit, man. Like it was the greatest thing ever to see. And Coach Haynes has always been like that too. He's always been like that as well. Always been like that. I was on the scout team offense all the time, so I spent a lot of time with him. So it's just really cool to see. He wasn't even our D coordinator at the time, which is crazy to think about.
He tells stories, man, about his come up, and the idea that he's a millionaire now just kind of still messes with his mind because he's like you, he's a day one Signetti guy who just kept going with him wherever he went. And I also think it speaks to Signetti that for the most part, his assistants don't want to go anywhere. And when they do leave, like a Sunseri, they want to get back because they find out what it's like out there.
No, that's true. Yeah, he went to UCLA and came back to Indiana, right?
That's right. That's right. Coaching
That's
quarterbacks
crazy.
again, as I understand. All right.
Yeah.
So back to your
Wow.
journey into media, dog. Like, again, you
Mhm.
get this idea, capitalizing on this idea, but it is
Mhm.
one thing for you to have an idea. It's another thing for you to drive to these campuses and
Yep.
go up to some of the more rowdy fans and fan bases in the entire world. Like, we're in the middle of the World Cup, but I'll put a Alabama fan up against almost anybody, and as
Oh yeah.
far as how rude or live they might get. So I'm going to ask it this way, right? Because this is much more interesting, I think, to the audience.
Mhm.
Who are the most unrealistic college football fans that you've come across,
Unrealistic. That I've interviewed so far, or just in general.
that you have interviewed so far?
Okay, so all right, so I went to the first Bill Belichick game at UNC last year, right? Because that's like right down the road from me. That was by far the most like delusional. You still there?
I'm just giving you the floor. That's all.
Oh, you're good. You're good. No, you went away for a second. You went away
I
for a
got
second.
you.
So by
I
far, so
got
I
you.
went to the just to restart. I went to the first Bill Belichick game at UNC last year, right? To go interview people, see what they thought of like what he was going to do. And it was like, we're winning the national championship. Like we're, he's doing the Patriot way here. It's going to be great. And then by the third quarter, everybody kind of was just like, yeah, this is going to be a fucking disaster. Um, that by far, yes. That was one. I mean, that's that. UNC's not really like a football school, to be honest. Like NC State's more. They got way more rowdier fans and better football culture over there. But I would say a mixture between South Carolina, because I've done a lot of South Carolina, like Georgia games, South Carolina, Alabama, and all of that. Like they're crazy, but they never win when I go and interview against with whatever team they're playing against. Never win. Um, Tennessee's up there for sure. Tennessee's up there. And then I'm gonna be honest, like right now, Alabama. Alabama right now, because like you can tell it's like, like the high school superstar that like, he couldn't be touched in high school and then, he gets to college and kind of gets some injuries and all this other stuff and he still thinks he can do the same shit he did when he was in high school. It's basically the same thing as that with Alabama. I know Roll Tide Willie pretty personally. I helped create that. Like I don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide clip with Drewski and
Man,
stuff.
man,
So
and we got dude in a wheelchair still saying the same thing into your microphone.
Yep, same thing. And luckily they won that game. That was against Georgia. When Ryan Williams caught that pass to that crazy touchdown he scored.
2024. Yeah, that's a great game.
2024. So yeah, man, it's definitely but I would say like just overall probably South Carolina. Like they have the craziest fans. I won't say they have the craziest fans in college football, but they have the craziest fans for like how like not I won't say they're not a great football team, if you know what I mean. They're not great. They're good, but they're not
just
great.
A little bit. Just a
little bit delusional. A little bit delusional.
I think we kind of get at this, but like I'm gonna pick on the SEC and the Big Ten right now because they are the superpowers in the sport.
Mm-hmm.
Which fan base in the Big Ten and the SEC do you think has what it takes to play quarterback? Like they see
Georgia.
the game, they understand the game, and you would trust them not to throw away the game.
Georgia, because they overanalyze every fucking thing, everything. Even like when Stetson Bennett was a quarterback, they're damn near flawless, in my opinion, and still finding ways that he could be a little bit better. And let's put Carson Beck in, let's do that. And then obviously when Carson Beck was doing honestly pretty fine, and he just wasn't doing what Stetson was doing. Or winning games like he was, it was like, let's get this dude out of here, send him to Miami. So I think they are definitely like the most like they're the most like diehard. Like I'll put them over Alabama fans, and diehard football fans, and they're number one in college football. And so yeah, I think they'd be most equipped to play quarterback in the SEC by far.
It speaks to it because the thing that I always tell people about Georgia football is they don't give a good damn about throwing the ball. Yep. They got exactly 1,000-yard receiver in a single season, period. Just one. And it was 1,002 yards. It was Terrence Edwards, 2004. Just nobody you'd ever thought about or heard of.
Oh, that's
because
crazy.
All they care about is running the ball and playing defense.
Yeah, facts. That's all they gotta do.
I'm down there for the Sanford game, Notre Dame, like 2019. And my favorite hat to this day that I've seen from any rival college football fan base, it just says run, period, ball spelled BAWL. Run the ball. And I'm like, yo, man, that if that ain't getting it right there, like every great quarterback is like, I don't give a damn if I throw the ball 1,000,000 yards. We win the football game. Hey, it's the fourth quarter. We up 8. Can I hand this ball to him, please?
Yeah, facts.
Just sit on their chest for a while. And that's how Georgia sits in my mind, just an 800-pound gorilla that is content to just sit on your chest until you give up. As opposed
you ain't lying.
Want to try to pound on you. That's great.
All right. You ain't lying at all. And I was really good friends with Elijah Holyfield. When he was playing at Georgia and stuff. Like he used to date a girl that went to Elon, and then his best friend went to Elon as well. So I met him while I was playing there, and he's always told me great things. And he was an 1,000-yard rusher there as well, like years after he got there. So I think it's cool that they can keep developing running backs every single year, even if you don't hear about him as much as the others, like the Bowens dude that's there now. Like I don't hear about him as much as like, the Nick Chubbs and all of them, but he's going crazy. He's going crazy like a
got
sleeper
dudes,
right
man.
now.
I mean, no Sean Marino is another dude people just forget about,
For sure.
People have already forgotten about Todd Gurley.
Yeah, I was going to mention him. Yeah. Wow.
They got dudes. They've always had dudes at tailback, and it's funny because they got dudes at wide receiver and tight end too. They just don't throw them the ball as often as they throw it to everybody else, right?
No, you're right. And it's cool that they got like a running quarterback now too. I like Gunner. I like him a lot.
I like Gunner because Gunner's as old school and country as they come, man. He is Georgia football to me. He is a Tiger, Georgia. He's named Gunner after his granddaddy, who was a fighter pilot. You know what I mean? Like it's a really great college football story. And not for nothing, dog, so are you. This is fun. Like I'm excited for what you're doing next. Matter of fact, tell us what you are doing next and where we can find you across social.
All right, so what I'm doing next is just basically what I'm doing now. But like this year, I really want to like hit the NFL circuit. I want to hit the college football circuit like crazy, be at every single game. I think this year I'm going to follow more of the LSU storyline and obviously I'm going to keep the Indiana storyline going. I went to the Peach Bowl last year, and Kalshi was able to give me a ticket right before I got in there, so I got to see that, and I got to really experience like what an Indiana fan is like football wise, and I think they're right up there with Georgia. Like if you wanted to know who could play quarterback in the Big Ten, I think it's Indiana fans as well, because Curt Cignetti really likes a quarterback that cares a lot. Obviously, Fernando Mendoza, he cares a lot. The quarterback I had at Elon, I've never seen anybody care at that time. Never seen anybody care as much as he did. The Ben DiNucci's that he coached at JMU. I was around him when he was training with Quincy Avery, because I used to take pictures for Quincy Avery back in the day when he was training to be in the pros and stuff like that. So I just want to be around a bunch of fans that really care about the game and try to grow it as much as possible through the play card stuff. And then obviously give them also a platform to, pop their shit as well. You know what I'm saying? Because the players get to do that all day long. So I want to really bring football fandom on that pedestal and show that these guys, like these fans, are like just as important as, I won't say just as important as the players, but they do make the environment of college football happen. So that's really my goal this year.
Bijan, Mr. Football on YouTube's across social media, 700,000 subscribers and growing very fast. Bro, I've had so much fun. Thanks so much for doing this.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate it. I was honestly like so like surprised that you hit me up. I was like, wow. So I see you on TV all the time. So I'm like, this is the coolest thing ever.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate you.
Absolutely, man. Well, you have a great one.
You too, brother.